Darren Mougey saw his shadow, which means we get another year of Brees. Feed the beast. Give him an extension. That's what we actually need. But hey, whether it's an extension or tag, he is it. All right, Darren Mougey, he spoke. I guess Aaron Glenn said some things too, but we're gonna talk about all of them. Everything that Darren said, everything that Aaron said, all of them. We are discussing all the words right here, right now. It's Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, let's go! There you go, Wudi!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
meets Wudi. Welcome. I promise you, this is going to be an explosive episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy, James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. This man over here, he got the disco fever. He is the boy who became king. Hit him with it, Mr. Paul Esden Jr., okay, and we had something planned. We've been going for the last couple of weeks, going through positions, okay? I don't want Boy Green to tell me a position right now because he's going to say something wild, but, we've been going through, and we had a position plan, but we had to throw that out the window because Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn spoke live at the Combine today. And there's a lot to digest, right, Boy Green?
That there is. I think there was some pretty seismic stuff today. Some things were rumored and then confirmed, which we could get into. You're wearing the jersey, and every Jets fan in the audience, I think that was the most emphatic thing from today. So we could go in a lot of different directions, Wudi. I think one thing that's sort of it's an interpretive thing. You have to listen to the press conference and sort of have your take on it. I was curious, not of any answer, although I guess some answers can sort of point you in a certain direction. What was going to be the tone of Aaron Glenn? So he just had a 3-14 year. He just blew the bleep out of his coaching staff. Was he going to come guns a-blazing like, I'm Aaron Glenn, baby, and I'm here, and here we are? And to be honest, this is my take. I haven't heard anyone else say this, so maybe it's just me on an island over here. I thought AG's tone was a lot different. I thought it was the arrogance was gone. The I don't want to say the confidence was gone because that's a personal thing, whether or not you feel confident in your ability to do something. But like from a standpoint of like, hey, why is this coaching, baby, coaching, or why is this? What do you winning? There wasn't like that goofy stuff. It just felt a bit more authentic. It felt a little bit more reserved. Like there was passionate answers that he gave, but like, I don't know. That was my take. I haven't seen that from anyone else, but that was my take watching AG because AG was first and then Darren Mougey followed on the presser. We could start there, Wudi. I just thought there was a very different energy to AG this time. And quite frankly, after a 3-14 year and everything that happened, perhaps a much needed energy.
There's undoubtedly a different energy in Aaron Glenn today. You call it authentic, blah, blah, blah. I call it humbled. Humbled, his tail in between his legs. After everything they said, he was like, oh, yeah, that's a good question. No more ask Rich. I'm gonna go. No, all that type of stuff. None of that. No, just, oh, okay. That's a good question. Let me answer it to the best of my ability. I definitely noticed that right off the bat. So this man, I mean, good. Like you said, coming off a 3-14 season, half of us want him gone. The other half is Boy Green, and we tired of the stick. So I hope this is something that sticks. I don't know if he just was feeling particularly, less confident that day or, this day. But I hope it's something that sticks because we don't need none of that. Obviously we've had coaches and we've had environments where that was cool. Give me 2010 Rex or 2009 Rex all day, literally all day. I can take that. But to be doing all that and, you literally the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league, there's no place for that. So I'm glad that that's something that he did not bring with him into 2026 so far.
Yeah, again, I think there is an opportunity for that to change. Maybe if and when wins come, that perhaps that juice can come back. But rightfully, perhaps you're right. Maybe it's not authenticity. Perhaps it's humble pie, which comes for all of us. And maybe that's it. But regardless of what it was, I think that was the appropriate decision. Whether that was subconscious, to your point, is it just the day he woke up on whatever side of the bed and that's the version we got, or whether that was tactful, I believe, regardless, that was the right choice.
Yes. So if he wants like a sticker for his notebook, I can put one on there. Good job. Good job, AG.
All right, let's we'll continue to bury the lead here for a second. This thing I'm about to say isn't seismic, but confirmation nonetheless. AG's calling the plays. If you've looked at every beat reporter this offseason since Brian Duke was hired, they said AG's expected to call plays. He's probably gonna call plays. So like it was supposed but not official. So I was kind of like, are we about to get something weird here? Like, so to just get it, yeah, I'm calling the plays, and to go through that process, I think was an important piece of the puzzle. Wudi, we both have clips to play on this. I'll throw mine up first here from AG. There was a couple of different answers, so you guys will hear the clips, and then we could go from there. AG was asked, well, first off, AG did an opening statement, and he went through a lot of stuff in his opening statement. And then he started getting asked questions, and he was answering questions. The clip I'm going to play first is not from the opening statement, so technically, chronologically out of order. But he was asked, like basically, what happened? Like, you were going to call play, or you weren't going to call plays. You hired somebody else last year, and then now you're calling plays. So, like, what changed? And Aaron Glenn, as I see a little bit in our comment section, people are pointing out on the Take Flight Talk channel that AG admitted some mistakes, and he'll be doing that on a few of the clips we play today. Let's go to this one.
Why did you ultimately decide you wanted to call plays again? And then what would you say about, like, how much different the defense will look if you fully, like, on that side?
To me, play call is my superpower, really. Doing it for 4 years in Detroit. And, man, just look at the maturation of those 4 years of how we improved every year and how I improved as a play caller. I really miss doing that. And I think it's a huge part of helping us become the team that I see us become, the team that I knew Mougey see us become, the team that Wudi sees us becoming. So that was a huge part of that. And I don't want to second guess that. And I will go back. When I say the mistakes that I've made, I'm not going to make that same mistake, and I feel like I need to do that when it comes to the team. When it comes schematically, who we're going to beat, man, we have a number of guys on defense that's going to help be able to build that. And that's the fun part about building around these men is building a defense that I think that that's going to actually put the players in position to be successful. And this is not my defense. This is going to be the New York Jets defense, and everybody on that side is going to be a huge part as far as building it. So I'm excited about that.
Yes, and the mistake, of course, is he hired Steve Wilks, Aaron Glenn, and said, hey, you're going to call the plays. You're going to do this. And obviously it failed because with 3 games left to go, Steve Wilks was fired. And, now Aaron Glenn is calling plays. We don't have this clip up, so I will just explain this part of the clip. He was asked, well, okay, then why the hell didn't you call plays in year 1 then? Like, if we ended up on this place, why did you call plays? And AG explained, as a first-year head coach, I wanted to make sure he didn't use this word, but you can infer the word. He didn't want to be overwhelmed with calling the game, like in terms of managing the game as head coach, and then also calling plays. So he thought delegating was the best choice. He said as he started to approach the end of the season, and he fired Wilks and put Chris Harrison there. He said, I think not only can I keep managing the game, I think I could also call plays and still do both at the level that is required. So he said that's why he didn't do it initially, because he wanted to delegate that task. He realized I didn't, which goes back to the clip I just said about not making the same mistake twice, of handing off the keys once again to someone else, calling plays. So before we go to your clip, Wudi, your response to that.
Yeah, I mean, I know, and this was actually I saw, because I was looking at the live chat. A lot of you guys were in the live chat. Shout out M. Vallette, my guy Dano, Danger Zone, Nick Sean. I've seen a lot of you guys in the live chat. That was a lot of the questions, and R&R asked the same question that I'm referring to. Is, if it was your superpower, why didn't you do it last year? I actually respect the answer / philosophy of, you, the top dog, you doing this, you delegating the task. I have absolutely no problem with that. My problem is the notion that this is his superpower, because I do have, we don't have the clip, we don't have to play that clip. We got to put up the numbers of my guy, AG, my guy and yours, defensive rankings as a play caller. Does this look like a superpower to you? If this is Aaron Glenn's superpower, then he might as well be the New York Jets kryptonite, because this is not great. If this is what you're saying we can expect in 2026, then we might as well start talking to Arch, man. We got to start talking to Arch. What is this? What are we looking at, Boy Green?
There is not much you can say. These stats are very blunt. As they were for him. It's nice to see that top 10 defense in terms of points per game being the most recent. Again, you love seeing the better stats more recently, as opposed to, right, when we look at Wink and some of those other guys. Well, 7 years ago, he was this. And you're like, eh. So that part's good to see. These are blunt statistics that are hard to argue. I will just say this. I wish I would have screenshot this. So Connor Hughes tweeted, he may have also tweeted this out recently. He tweeted this out a while back, somewhere in the month of either early February or late January. And someone responded saying, these numbers you post, Connor Hughes, are true, but here are analytics that go beyond yards per game, points per game, that show actually Aaron Glenn did a halfway decent job. And I wish I would have, I read it and went, oh, interesting. But I don't want to start calling out stats incorrectly. So these are harsh. I can't lie. They don't look good. But I did see a response to Connor Hughes' tweet when he tweeted this originally in either January or February, because when rumors started to percolate that Aaron Glenn could be calling plays, and those numbers seem to be more respectable. But it's just, no matter what I said, it's just going to start sounding like excuses. The injuries, the this. But no, these numbers are not good.
Yeah. Shout out to Keep It Simple RC, simply saying he sees improvement year after year, as if 29 to 32nd is an improvement.
I just saw. I highlighted the wrong comment here. Wudi just stirring the pot. Oh, whoops! Whoops, he meant this one.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if 32nd is better than 29th, but shout out, guys. Shout out our guys. Appreciate the engagement, and like you said, a huge revelation. I think we all knew that he was going to be calling plays, God help us all.
So a couple of things here. Thank you for, bringing your evidence for Exhibit A for today's performance. Thank you for your homework today, Wudi. Appreciate that. I will say this. So you just said it. Aaron Glenn's process to me made sense. You get hired as head coach, and sure, you got hired because of your defensive play calling expertise. But hey, I want to be a head coach, and there was a label on AG before he was answering this question that I'm about to pose when he was a Lion, before he even became a Jet, where people were asking him about taking head coaching interviews and saying, so man, as a defensive coach, how is this? And he started going I'm not a defensive coach. I am a coach. And he, again, so this is not just a Jet thing. He was saying this in Lions land. So I think that was even more on his mind to say, if I'm now getting into AG's brain here, but if I call plays, I am reiterating the label people are putting on me that I'm just a defensive coach and I'm doing defensive coach things. I'm going to prove to everybody I'm an overall coach and I'm going to delegate properly. And obviously that was a failure, but the process made sense. delegate those tasks. He starts going through the process, and he's like, oh, bleep. Like, man, I got to call the plays now. And I see that we have a comment from R&R here. Let me highlight this up. He says, I think at crunch and touche, but I would say this, and people are not going to want to hear this, but when we realized at a certain point of the season, oh shit, this defense is fucked. Like, oh boy, this is not good. Again, there was a brief glimpse of week 6 and week 7, back-to-back weeks. The Jets held their opponent to 13 points, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then it was terrible the rest of the way for the most part. And if you're AG, what do you do? Do you dive into the burning building to try to save a few puppies? And if you do, it looks impressive. But if you step in, expertise, superpower, and you can't immediately turn around the defense, whether fair or unfair, people are going to be throwing rocks at you. I thought you were the defensive expert. And I think Aaron Glenn realized this. Again, fans are not going to want to hear this. He's like, this shit is fucked. Steve Wilkes, we'll write it as long as you can. 3 games left. Hey, Chris Harris, hey, try to call some defense for the first time in your life, buddy. Get in there. And if I'm AG, if I'm going to call plays, I'm doing it when I have a full off season and I can put myself in the best position to be the best defensive play caller possible. Because at a certain point, the hay's in the barn. You can't change personnel. You can't change the scheme. When there's 3 weeks left to go, 4 weeks left to go, it's too late. So again, fans don't want to hear that. But I think that's why AG didn't run into this burning building, didn't utilize his superpower last year. Is his superpower, I don't think would have looked great.
Yeah, I thought you were commenting on his next comment.
Let me see.
R&R, which I thought was funny that 2025 was the origin of the story. Hey,
Wow.
Because that's pretty much how I felt. I felt like Bruce Wayne last year, just watching my parents get shot over and over every Sunday.
Wow.
Because that's how terrible it was. So maybe now, for it, but I'm just, again, I like to tell the truth. Just trying to warn y'all that I'm not sure if you getting what you think you're getting.
Again, we will see what happens. So, Wudi, normally I'm the clip guy, but we're going to go to you. I know you said this answer we're about to hear from AG does not have a question to it. So, please, to the best of your ability, paint whatever the question was. Context is super important for whatever AG may or may not be answering here. So, please, before I bring this up, just sort of set this clip up we're about to play.
Absolutely. Context is key. That's absolutely the most important thing. So right here, I thought this answer was very interesting. Pretty much the question was, you had a staff last year that you felt fit the vision, because that is what he just said about, the 2026. So the person who asked the question said you had a staff last year who you felt fit the vision. But now you have a completely different staff. Like, what went wrong last year, and how is it going to be different this year? And I was at the edge of my seat. I literally have a bowl of popcorn right here. I was let me hear this answer. And I don't know. I recorded it on my phone, so it's not the beautiful quality of the last clip that we just saw from Boy Green.
All right, here we go.
Going through this whole this coaching search was, Mougey was a huge part of it. Rick Spielman was a huge part of it. And I want to get their opinions on what they thought. And every coach that was brought into this building, man, I want to make sure there was synergy between me and their coach. And I think that was one of the mistakes that I had last year is you hire a coordinator, okay, bring the guys in that you feel comfortable with. And, that hasn't changed. But, man, there was a lot of conversation between me and each coach to make sure there was synergy between me and that coach. So I feel very comfortable with that. I thought the process was outstanding. And, listen, I know that it took some time, and I meant it to take time so I can make sure we get the right guys.
Is there more, or is that it?
That's it.
Okay, nope. Just wanted to make sure. Don't want to cut it off early. Okay, yeah. Wudi, I'll let you talk first. That was the clip you grabbed, so please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, watching it back now, like the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't even think he really answered the question at all. But now that I'm watching it again, it seems like he's trying to say that he didn't have synergy with the 9 coaches that he let go, which I find pretty hard to believe. So I want to definitely know from you, Boy Green, A, do you agree that that's what he's saying? And B, I mean, you took staff from the Lions. Like my guy Tanner Engstrand was in the building with you. You've known him for years. Like, are you buying that all of a sudden, suddenly they don't have synergy when they was co-workers? They chilling in the lunchroom. They know the lunch lady first name, and they out here now all of a sudden, oh, I don't know him like that. Steve Wilkes, even, like, I know he didn't, they didn't have a great, he wasn't the best man at his wedding, but they, talked about how they've met in passing and, their knowledge. And he said at that time of the hire, energy. So that's an AB for my boy BG.
I appreciate that. A couple of things here to your question. Initially, so the first part of the answer, I'm like, okay, yep, this is all making sense, totally vibes. And then we reach that point where he's explaining it, the synergy, and says, like that's key. That's key. Synergy. And not that it wasn't there last year, but I had to make sure it was on point this year. And I'm like, huh? So the part that makes sense, right? So Steve Wilkes, he did not know. Let me take a step back. They knew of each other. Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilkes, they're all in the NFL brother fraternity of coaches. So like they knew each other of that, but they had never directly worked at each other based on their resumes. So, and we talked about this one before, so I don't want to beat a dead horse about how AG assessed that this defense that we just had was Robert Saleh-ish. 49ers, boop, 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 same thing. Oh, this is a good decision to make for transition of making that together, even if I hardly knew the guy, which he put together. And I would say the swapping of Steve Wilkes to Brian Duker, a guy he AG has directly worked with, that seems to make sense. Where it's lacking a little bit is that Frank Reich and AG have never worked together, but they were teammates one time in 1996, 30 years ago. So like that one, when you're talking about connective tissue coming together, that's the one that is a little off-putting. Now there's another answer, because obviously we can't play the full press conference here on the show, but he said, AG, when he decided, he reached the epiphany, I want to call the defense. He went, well, he said this without saying it, like, well, Tanner Engstrand can't be my play caller anymore. And that I need an experienced guy. And if that's what he's looking for, Tanner obviously is not an experienced guy. He had just completed his first year of calling plays at the NFL level. So once AG decided to do plays, the ripple effects of like, yeah, I need synergy, which I have on defense for Brian Duker, but synergy is obviously not the most important thing with Frank, because I need a guy who's experienced. And boats passed in the night in 1996, and they knew each other then. That's where synergy to me breaks. Again, do they text every other weekend? I have no idea, but I just, synergy seems lacking there. It seems more important, the task. Like, I didn't hire my buddy to do this plumbing job. I hired the guy that I think is the best guy for the job. And Frank Reich's experience is what he believes he was going for there. So yeah, the synergy answer lacks some synergy.
Yes, yeah, that's what I felt. That's why I had the when I heard that live. So yeah, definitely had to dissect that. I love to see that AG has so many devoted people in the crowd right now. All I gotta say to answer Mark's question of I don't know anyone who started a new job that didn't have growing pains. Did you see Liam Cohen, like coach? Did you see Ben Johnson take a team from worst to first? I mean, maybe y'all only looking at New York Jets head coaches and y'all confused, but if you look, like, all you have to do is just like look at the league and you will see why AG gets the hate, I guess is the word. I don't have hate. I just, would like a better coach. But there is hate from the Killer Cub. AG is trash. Like, yeah. There are people that are saying that. And that's because you look at other first-time head coaches, and they don't go a full season without getting an interception. They don't go 3-14. They don't have the worst December in the history of the NFL. But for some reason, that's all good for you guys.
By the way, one more on AG. Again, I know we've buried the lead, and we'll get into the sexiest thing we should all be giddy about, quite frankly. But I think it's important for me and Wudi to talk about the good things and the bad things. Like, we should talk about the exciting things, of course, naturally, but we should talk about the other things as well. AG, now we start getting into interpretation words. I was going to say aggressively pushed back, but call it whatever you want. He pushed back on the rumors that Wudi Johnson had massive influence in not only who he hires and fires. There was whispers about the Tanner Engstrand thing. There were whispers about the Wink Martindale thing, obviously, which he got into a little bit. And then in general about how he should run his operation. Those are the direct points that AG addressed. He says he was glad he was asked the question because he wants this narrative to go away. He says, this is AG's words, Wudi Johnson supports. Like, anytime I go to him and tell him the vision, tell him the plan, Wudi responds, according to AG, how can I help? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? And then they work together in that realm. So he strongly pushed back on those thoughts. And one of the biggest points, I think, the pieces of evidence is that Wink Martindale had 2 interviews with the Jets, one virtual, one in person. And by the reporting of certain people, Rich Cimini, Connor Hughes, Zach Rosenblatt, several, it wasn't just one guy, that Wink was coming in there to accept the job, was basically what it was all lined up to be. And obviously that didn't happen. And people believe, well, how did Wudi not affect that with a money thing, this, that, or the other? AG says it wasn't that, and Wink was cool with me calling plays, which that one's hard for me to believe, but okay, we'll take him at his word. Do you buy or sell that Wudi Johnson does not have any influence, relatively speaking? Obviously, he's the owner, so he can do and say whatever he wants. But for pushing AG to hire people and telling him how to run his operation, AG says that doesn't happen. What say you, Wudi?
Call me gullible. I'm gonna believe what he said. Actually,
AG, you're saying?
Yes, because I feel like pre-hire, Wudi, was really self-reflective. He said that he's trying to get less involved. He hired the 33rd team to try to make this happen, and I really think that he's let AG get the reins. I think that's another reason why he's catching so much heat, is because we believe that he's making all these decisions. Like, if we thought that Wudi was pushing all these buttons, there wouldn't be as much heat. So I am going to wholeheartedly believe that Wudi has, taken that step back that he said he would, self-reflecting, starting with that man in the mirror, and AG is out here. Yeah, there you go. Hey, hit him with it. AG. You know what I'm saying? AG is calling the shots and doing his thing, as wrong as they might be.
Yeah, you said it very well. When AG was hired and the introductory press conference was happening, that was the most self-reflective I've ever seen Wudi Johnson. We had Rich Cimini on last year after that, and I asked him, for someone like Rich, who has just completed his 37th season, I asked him before he started his 37th season, last year after the press conference, was that, to me, and I'm just some young buck over here, I'm only 32, so or 31 at the time. I was like, I haven't been around Wudi Johnson forever, but it seemed like he was incredibly self-reflective. And Rich Cimini said, yes, he was. Although part of it is question. He said he was asked self-reflective questions and gave self-reflective answers. So I said, okay, fair enough. I don't think there is this massive. I think AG was given a lot of power, and for a reason, and thus you get the good and the bad. That means there is blood on AG's hands when things go wrong, but good when things go right. So confetti from the high rafters there for AG. So we'll see if that continues to happen. All right, Wudi, I've held back long enough. Let's get to it. This, to me, and I did a quick YouTube short on this before we started the show, this is the most seismic thing that was said. Before these press conferences start, Wudi, people ask, Oh, boy, it's word salad. What actually gets said here? Well, you tell me. I'll play this clip. This is Darren Mougey answering 3 questions in a row about Breece Hall and his future with the team. And I'll let you guys determine what you think Darren Mougey just said, because I think something was abundantly clear.
Optimistic that you can get something done with Breece before free agency, and if not, are the tags possibly an option?
Yeah, the tags are an option. Ideally, we'd find a way to get a deal done and keep Breece around. I think I've said that for the last year since I've got here. Breece is a good player. Want to find a way to keep him around. We've been going through that process and are still doing so. And, we have a week to find out, if we can't get to an agreement, which way we'll go with that tag. Yeah, we'll find a way to keep Breece here if we can't get a deal done.
Do you get the sense that he wants to be here long term?
I do get the sense that Breece wants to be here. We've had good conversations throughout the season, after the season, so just finding a way to do that.
There you go. And if you couldn't hear the questions, folks, I apologize for the media audio, but he was asked, Darren Mougey, in several different ways. And Mougey confirmed that they have been talking extension. They've had contract talks back and forth about it. Folks, a week ago, that was February 17th, the franchise tag window opened up. A week from today, the franchise tag window closes. That's Tuesday, March 3rd. Whether it's today, tomorrow, the 2nd, the 1st, the 3rd, it doesn't matter when. Again, as we joked about before, no bonus points for the Jets if they do it early. But no matter what, it sounds like the Jets fully plan on using a franchise tag, whether it's non-exclusive, exclusive transition. We could get into that in a second. But the Jets plan on, and I was thinking about you, Wudi, earlier when this comment was made, because I know you have very few jerseys left in that closet of yours that have any meaning whatsoever.
Quinn will always have meaning.
Okay, of course. Cue ball. Shout out to Cue ball. But when he said that, I was just like, I'm so happy for Wudi because one way or the other, Breece is staying here in 2026. The Jets made that emphatically clear. For anyone out in the audience that said, the Jets aren't going to tag Breece, with all due respect, you're an idiot. I always thought that the Jets were going to tag him, and I'm glad to have the GM back that Brinks truck up and say he is absolutely, at a minimum, getting tagged, and we're trying to get a long-term deal done. That made the most sense for the Jets. That made the most sense at every level of this. So, Wudi, tag you're it, or a long-term deal is happening here for Breece Hall. That's got to be pretty exciting for you, I imagine.
Plan A, by the largest margin possible, is an extension. We need an extension, 3 years. I was actually shocked what Javonte Williams got. Given his season, he had a really good season with the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe Google this because your boy could be mixing up numbers in his head, but I believe it was 3 for 24 or 21.
Yeah, so 3 for 24, $8 million per year, $16 million guaranteed.
So 3 for 24. That is less than all the fake contracts that we were giving out for Breece.
Right.
And you could say that Javonte had a better year. So
this past year for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying a better year than Breece.
Yeah. I'm saying, yes, a better year. I was just making sure it was clear, not like better career, better anything. Better 2025, Javonte here, Breece Hall here. I'm agreeing. I'm saying yes.
Yeah. And that's a contract he got. So now that's making me think like, like this. So one of those, fake contracts that we talked about, 3 for 30, this and that. That's in the realm of possibility, or that might even be considered an overpay. And I think that's probably what they're talking about right now. Breece is younger. I would say he is more gifted physically, can do more things on the field. But of course, one has the benefit of, playing with the Monstars over there, Dak, CD, Pickens having a career year. And the other one, you guys keep making excuses for AG, so I know you guys know about the offensive situation. So having Breece, at least for 2026, is good, but I definitely want him extended long term. I'm going to say it again. Plan A, by the largest margin possible, is extend long term. He's going to help any quarterback. Obviously, I'm thinking, in 2027, we getting some blue chip guy, where Brees would help the best, but even Kirk Cousins likes handing the ball off. So having Brees, that's a huge get. I really don't think he wants to play around. Like, I think he wants to get paid, and that's what Connor Hughes said. There was that video clip that came out of Brees talking, and people were trying to say, "Oh, it sounds like he's trying to leave." But Connor Hughes, he responded to that and said, "No, I think he just wants to get paid." And I would agree. I think he wants to get paid. Obviously, if he can leave and get paid, that's probably plan A for him. But if we can overpay a little bit, that 3 for 30, 3 for 33, and keep him here, get him that bag that he wants. I mean, there's not much left to say. We have the money to afford it.
All right. Jim CBW. I love interacting with Jim CBW on this show. So let's get a couple of things in here. He says, sorry, a lot of comments coming in. He says, thankfully, this ends in trade fallacy. It doesn't. I hope because it's lying season. I hope the thing is, I don't think Mougey would say this in terms of like an ingenuine comment. Like, let's say in his head, he hates Brees Hall. I don't think he would say this if that was true. Being so emphatic. Like, for instance, we're going to get to, I'll just say, I won't say the player's name specifically. There are 2 free agents that Darren Mougey was completely non-committal to on the Jets that he was asked about. So he could have said that about every free agent that was Brees Hall. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what that. That's not what he did. You just heard the answer. He was not that. So he definitely wants to keep Brees. And he says that Brees wants to be there long term. But I don't think this ends the tag and trade stuff. If they can't work out a long-term deal by March 3rd, which again, I would be surprised if Brees Hall doesn't force the Jets' hand, unless the Jets and him are really just negotiating in true faith, and Brees sees the deal. He's like, this is a good deal. I'll sign it. I would be still, even to everything we've heard today, I would be surprised if he has a new deal before March 3rd of next week. A long-term deal, I'm saying. That would surprise me. Again, if I'm Brees, I am playing the market. Even if I want to come back to the Jets, I want to get the most money possible. To do that is to force the Jets to play the franchise tag, and now we're truly negotiating. Now I know they're actually using the tag. And which tag are they using? They're using transition. They're using this franchise tag, non-exclusive, exclusive. So again, I think the game is to be played. So to go back to your comment here, CBW, where you say this ends the tag and trade fallacy, first off, there's a different F word I'd like to use. It's not fallacy. So put that aside. This does not end the tag and trade talks. If the Jets tag Brees and they get a bunch of calls about Brees, the tag and trade, you've seen Darren Mougey. He traded Sauce Gardner months after an extension. He's not going to trade Brees Hall potentially if they get some crazy offer. And I don't know what the crazy offer is. So I would not put the tag and trade thing away. But if you are a Jets fan, you got to feel very happy that it sounds like all boats are pointed in the right direction to try to keep him. Now, to go to this comment, yes, I believe Javonte Williams had a better season last year than Brees. That is true. I think over the breadth of their careers, Javonte has an extra year, so he has that over Brees. He's older than Brees, and he has an extra year. He's played 5 years. Brees has played 4 years in the league. I think Brees is an overall better player, certainly as a receiver. He's a much better player. Javonte has had a better rushing season than Brees Hall has ever had, so take that into account, whatever you will. When Javonte got paid, I was surprised the same way you were, Wudi. I'm like, ooh, that's a good deal for the Cowboys to get Javonte like that. That's a nice deal. I also didn't consider him, with all due respect to Javonte, in the same category as Brees. So I don't see this, and not saying you do, but I don't see 3 for 24 for Brees. I don't see a match on that. I'm sure Mougey will bring it up like, hey, look at this. That's his right and his job, quite frankly, to try to get the cheapest deal possible. But CBW asks, but the tag is 14. Why would he take the other deal? Brees doesn't want. This is where we got into fallacies. Brees Hall, I'd be surprised if he gets $14 million a year, right, on a long-term deal. So,
Facts.
Which is the key of the franchise. The franchise is, why would he want this instead of this? It's long-term security. And I don't think he's getting 3 for 24. I think he's getting more. Rudy was just floating out 3 for 30, 3 for 33. We can talk about other deals. So the 14, he doesn't want as is if it's a franchise tag. Players don't like playing on the franchise tag. He could break both of his legs, for God's sakes, and then just be out forever. And he gets a 14. He gets the adrenaline rush of 2026 and $14 million, and then he's out for the foreseeable future or doesn't get the money that he wants. So no. I don't think we're comparing the 14 to that. I think Brees is just trying to get the best deal that he can. So I wouldn't look at it that way personally. And yes, as CBW mentions, when you keep adding the tag, you're adding 120%. You're adding this percentage on top, rather, to the franchise tags that come in. So just to put all that out there, I don't think tag and trade is dead. I do think the Jets will legitimately want to keep Brees. But to hear that, I'm just glad there were some people talking crazy talk. Don't tag him at all, just let him walk. And I'm like, what are we doing? That just seems stupid, Wudi.
Well, you already know how I feel about that. I think you just raised my blood pressure like 10 points by even saying that. Yeah. Macho cracked me up talking about I'm leaving here with something, that clip. That's good. And that is like the vibe. Like, obviously we want Brees, but if he does have to go, now with the tag, there's a guarantee that we getting something, so I definitely want him to be long term. I loved hearing what Mougey said, even like the inflection of when he said, like, I do, like when they said, do you think he wants to be here? Because that has been the narrative that like everyone's like, oh, Brees. And I've seen the comments even from our incredible fans that oh, he crying, he whining, he's sulking, all this type of stuff. He doesn't really do any of that, like so I saw the same things about Sauce. Now I'm seeing them about Brees, but I want him to be a Jet.
Yeah, and I will reiterate, as CBW says here, no guarantee if it's transition.
Yeah, as I was saying it, I did think that, but I didn't feel like going back. I was on a roll, so I didn't even
No. But I think with how emphatic to me that Darren Mougey was, it doesn't sound like they're playing transition games. It sounds they're playing reindeer games of the franchise tag. We're picking exclusive or not exclusive. That's what it sounds like to me. I keep hearing insiders. Jonathan Jones says, transition makes a lot of sense. Transition. I'm like, I don't see it. Again, the Jets have $79 million in cap space. What is $3 million? I know that's a lot to me or you. If $3 million was on my doorstep, I'd be a very different man right now than I am 5 minutes from now. That's for sure. But for the NFL teams, it means nothing. And if you guarantee with one of the other two franchise tags that guarantees that Brees is being a Jet, or you're trading him for something very significant. Transition, you can still tag and trade from transition. But if I'm a team, I try to sign him to an offer sheet that makes it difficult for the Jets. And then if they don't match, I get him for nothing. No draft picks, no nothing. So I hope they don't use the transition. That's a dangerous game to play. Don't save the $3 million. Don't be penny pinchers. If you truly want Brees, you're not going to use the transition. If you truly don't want to play games, you're not going to use the transition, and we'll see if that is indeed the case. So, yes.
Put your money where your mouth is. That is
100%.
Classic example right there.
All right.
I don't know if this was next on the agenda, but Old Yank asked a question, which I believe deserves an answer.
100%. This was not next, so I'm glad it was on my list, and I wanted to see where, natural. Now that we've sort of ping-ponged off the biggest stuff, there's other things that are on my list, but now let's get to the fans. Let's get to what you guys are talking about. And I found this fascinating. Okay. So Old Yank says, what did y'all take from the talk about Fields, BG, and Wudi? And if you listen, you just hear, he's under contract, blah, blah, blah. That's like the black and white that we all have to say. The thing that I find fascinating is this. I listen to the Rich Eisen show. It's one of my favorite shows. I love listening to that all the time. Tom Pelissero joined the Rich Eisen show. So what's today? Wudi, Tuesday? So it would have been Friday, probably. So Friday of this past week. And he's going through all the quarterback conundrum. Rich Eisen sets him up. Hey, what's the latest on the quarterback carousel? Bring me through the guys. He's like, Kirk Cousins going to be cut. We found that out today, that he will be cut. New league year kicks off. And you're like, okay, he's going to be cut. Oh, Kyler's probably going to get cut. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And in all of these contracts, there's this thing called the trigger date. Okay. And a trigger date is, hey, on this day, the second day of the new league year, first day of the new league year, sure, Kirk Cousins costs this, but tomorrow he costs this. And then the Falcons like, geez, well, we got to do something before that date, or, that's going to affect our cap. So a lot of Kyler Murray, I believe his is the third or fifth day of the new league year. You got to do something, or a massive guarantee comes in. So again, there's this date in time, trigger. It's going to trigger contracts, and big things happen. Tom Pelissero brought up, and I just went, noted. I don't know what that means. Does that mean anything? Noted. He said, what's interesting is Justin Fields and his contract does not have a trigger date. Whether they cut him today or 7 months from now or this, the other, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, Everyone just has written off Justin Fields. Oh, he's getting cut. Every expert has said that. And I just went, that's interesting. Let me just put it on the side notes. Darren Mougey in his Justin Fields answer brings up the fact, hey, by the way, there's no trigger date on Justin Fields. And I'm like, why would he say that? Why would he do that? And it sounds like to me, there's a couple of things here that we could sort of pluck here. Could it mean that the Jets are either going to have a backup plan if they swing and miss on quarterback, so they at least know they have Justin Fields, which, again, take that for whatever you will, what you think Justin Fields is or isn't and all that other stuff. So is it just a backup plan as soon as they get their guy, whoever it is? And I'll get into your other Malik Willis nonsense, CBW, in a second. Hang on tight. We'll pull the car back over for that. But do they get Malik Willis, let's just say, and then like, okay, cool, now we got our guy Justin, get out. Like, it's like boom, boom. Is it transactional like that? Interesting. Are they able to trade Justin Fields? Do we play the quarterback game and the music's playing, and then music stops and the team goes to sit and goes, oh shit, there's nowhere to sit. And Darren Mougey comes over and says, well, maybe there is a place to sit. And he just had Justin Fields waiting. And I don't think it'd be for obviously anything crazy, but does he try to do that? Is that like, why say that? Like, what's the motivation of saying, hey, the trigger date, we don't have to get rid of him anytime. He's part of this team. Did you find that as fascinating, Woody, or am I just making stuff up?
Definitely didn't find it as fascinating.
I see.
I felt like it was common sense. Like, if I'm in that scenario, why am I cutting, Justin Fields right now? Like, everything that you said is valid. Every single – now, the trade, I guess we can pick up another 7th rounder or something like that. Hey, like, I don't know about that. But, there is a scenario where Fields is a quarterback. Like, to me, the free agent pool, like the quarterback situation is pretty bad. It's pretty bad right now. We keep talking about Kirk, Kyler, and Malik Willis, who I guess we are being forced to talk about. That's not, and that's assuming that they want to play for us. Like, this is consensual relations. So Fields, until right, that's like saying one in the hand is worth two in the bush. Right now we looking at the bush like, we got some people, but we got that one that is in the building under contract, can't do nothing. So that's what I took from it, is that Darren Mougey pretty much acknowledged that that's the situation that they're in. He did not at all be like, he's our guy or anything like that.
Right,
and that's,
right.
Like how you said with Brees. Like Brees, he was like, no, he's a great player, great person. Mm-hmm. Yep. We love him. Justin, he is under contract. So, I felt like that was normal. That's what I was expecting. That's what I expected. Like if that never happened, that press conference never happened, they're like, what's the situation with Field and the Jets? Is that he's under contract? They try and figure out the QB situation, and then once that's figured out, now they can make the move.
Yeah, and we'll see what this means, if it means anything of nature. But again, it makes sense that if the Jets cut Justin Fields today, or they cut him in a month and a half from now, and there's no difference on the cap ramifications, and why are the Jets in any rush? What, just for us hungry fans out in the audience and say, hey, you should do this or you should do this? I don't know. Now let's get to this. Let's get to CBW. He just has a way to just say things and put all these this nonsense out there, this fake news out in the air. Okay. I have made this clear that a quarterback I would personally avoid in free agency is Malik Willis. 6 career starts scares the bleep out of me. And there's a lot of conversation about how expensive he could be. There is a show that we did this morning on Boy Green Daily and put out a video yesterday, covered it in an article. And now all of a sudden, apparently Boy Green is all in on Willis. All in. Okay, CBW. Let me just give you a tip. for reading, it's up and down, left to right. Feel free to try that. Okay. The fact of the matter is, I'm not all in on Willis. But what I will do, and I hope Wudi will do when we do these shows and rumors start coming in, we will address the rumor. If people say, hey, the Jets are all in on Trey Hendrickson, I'm like, whoa, Wudi, pros, cons, good, bad, this, that. That's what we will do. I will not just, if someone reports or shares that Malik Willis is high on the Jets priority list, I'm like, no, I don't want him, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist. What? I wouldn't be doing my job. I'm a Jets content creator. So no, Boy Green is not all in on Willis. So again, CBW, up and down, left to right, buddy boy. Okay, read the article. I'm not all in on Willis, but it sounds like from two people that came out this week. Benjamin Solak joined the Rich Eisen show, and he says he believes the Jets are going to be aggressive to get Malik Willis. I'm like, wow, that's notable. Matt Lombardo, NFL Insider Extraordinaire, joins me last night on the show and says, hey, man, I think they're going to be big players for Malik Willis. And I'm hearing all this steam like, damn, we have to cover and talk about this, because even if I feel a certain way, the Jets don't have to check it by me. Hey, Paul, we're thinking about going after Malik Willis. Well, your thoughts? No. They're making their own decisions, and then we will react to what those decisions are. So CBW, please. No, I'm not flopping on the deck like a fish. This isn't a SpongeBob SquarePants episode. Okay. Listen to Pineapple Under the Sea. Okay. So here it is. Okay. On Malik Willis. Again, I am nervous about the whole Malik Willis thing. And Dan Orlovsky thinks he could get 40 or 50 million per year. And yeah, I know. That's what I said. Ben Solak on the Rich Eisen show said he thinks it's going to be between the Justin Fields deal and the Baker Mayfield deal. There's a gap in the quarterback market. If you look through, everyone's sort of separated by 3 or 4 million. It's this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. You fast forward all the way to the list where it's between number 19 LS and number 20. Number 19 is Baker Mayfield. It makes $33.3 million per year. And then there's Justin Fields. There's a $13.3 million gap. Then it's $20 million per year. It's Justin. You're like, whoa, that's the largest gap in the market that exists. Ben believes that Malik Willis will slot somewhere in between that gap, and Willis, would become the new 20th highest paid quarterback in football. So we'll see what happens. But if the Jets do in fact sign Willis, and he's the guy, I'm going to support my guy. He wears the green, a different shade of green, apparently.
My jersey, let's go.
Yeah, I'm supporting my guy. That's what I'm going
to do. Every new quarterback, you have a jersey of every quarterback?
I don't have one of every quarterback. And I don't think I'd be rushing for Malik Willis, with all due respect. But in terms of my support, I would be there for him. Yeah. I would be there for Malik if they signed him. But again, I just don't want this noise out there. Someone comes across CBW here and says, Boy Green's all in on this Willis guy. And then it's this, that, or the other. Like, Boy Green, this flopping fish over here. And no, I just wanted to be clear. No, my stance has been pretty on point with what I believe.
DNY for life cracked me up. What you talking about, Willis?
There's a lot of opportunities.
But I can't lie. I would be in I feel like almost like an episode of the Twilight Zone. It would be a special chapter of hell if the New York Jets, after signing this bum Justin Fields, who I was trying to tell you guys is a bum, and then you guys kept saying, but he was 4-2. He was 4-2. And the very next season, they signed Malik Willis, and then you guys have to, keep hyping up. Oh, but he was 2-0, like stats from 4 games, and just having him do the exact same thing. Like that would be, like I said, a special hell that I really hope I can avoid, because I do not want to suffer through another bottom dwelling season.
Let me ask you this, because this actually works into a Mougey quote. I have a bunch of, unfortunately, the press conferences are at 1:15. Our show's at 3. I don't have enough articles for heavy that I didn't have enough time to cut up every clip. A lot of clips are saved on my phone, so I'll be sending them out after the show. But there is actually an interesting follow-up Mougey thing on this Willis stuff. He wasn't directly asked about Willis, but they asked him, I believe it was Connor Hughes. He said, hey, with all due respect, after flopping on Justin Fields last year, are you now like, ooh, all right, well, my next quarterback won't be coming from free agency. It'll be coming from trade. Like, will you try something else because that didn't work? And Mougey said, no, just because one thing may not have worked this way does not mean every free agency thing won't work. We will go back and get the best guy no matter where they come from. Is that just a bullshit say nothing quote, or is there something in there, Wudi?
There could be something in there. I mean, that's one thing that I'll say about this regime. Like everyone that we hear speak has been very consistent, like no stone unturned. Mm-hmm. Like they really, I don't know if they actually do it for real, but they definitely say every time that they get asked about a process, like, oh, we're going to, evaluate all the possibilities and all that type of stuff. So I have no doubt that it is something that they thought about and something that, they are looking into as best as they can. But, I just know, Malik Willis, he ain't it, and I feel so bad for my guy. Keep it simple, RC, because he's seeing somebody do things on a different team. Okay, Matt LaFleur. Got all these options, and then he comes to the Jets, and he's human again, and then we're all so confused. Like, what happened? Like we just seen this song and dance. Please change the record, man. Change the record.
That's a very funny way to put it. I will tell you this. I'm not normally rushing to defend Wudi, but I think Fields and Willis, if you don't want to call them the same cat, they're in the same bucket. And the bucket is upside. It's limited sample size. In our specific case, it's an interesting. Willis has 6 career starts. Justin Fields, we were basing off the most recent 6 starts, which was Pittsburgh. Again, Justin Fields had more starts than that, obviously, but we were talking about sample sizes, and we were convincing ourselves because of the Pittsburgh thing, look at this slice of life, it could be this. Willis, 6 career starts across his career, so again, take that for what you will, but it's like, hey, he's this, but we could make him this. So it's projecting. You were saying projecting like that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's projecting like the same thing. And it is very similar. They are different players completely, and there's all kinds of things you could say about them. But it would be about the free agent risk of saying he's been this somewhere else. We think we could take him from here to this next level. And maybe they can with Frank Reich and a different offensive coaching staff. But, yeah, that's the part that, to be candid, makes me nervous. Let's get to a super chat here. It's Chef Kevin Gilbert, Fastest Food Reviews. Whoa, is he calling out Boy Green?
All right. Of course.
Wow.
And I wouldn't even say that Boy Green all of a sudden is a Brees guy. He's still hating. Don't worry, Chef Kev. He's still hating. Let's go. And, strange, right? Strange if he was a Brees Hall guy. Let's go Jets. Come on now. No, because he's still talking about tag and trade. Like Darren Mougey said he's going to be a Jet this year. All right. This jersey is getting used in the fall. Come on now. And this man's still talking about, oh, well, you don't think it's still offer us? So no, he's still a Brees hater. And Johnny Boy, I don't want to see you switch up either. I see you on the Take Flight Talk channel. All right. No, I don't want to hear you talk about Brees whatsoever. You and Boy Green, the 2 biggest Brees haters walking the planet.
Hey, by the way, so is it official? Is the Brees Hall jersey the one you're wearing for the tailgate this year?
Bro, yeah, I'm not gonna buy another one. This team sucks.
Thank you for
that. Team stinks. Okay, so yeah, I guess just by default, this is a jersey.
Okay, there you go. Well, Chef Kevin Gilbert, appreciate that. But all of a sudden, a Brees guy. I mean, again, if we get a good offer on a tag and trade, well, I would. But I would tell you this, okay? If there are 3 doors, door number 1, keep Brees in whatever form fashion. We can argue tag, long term, whatever. Just keeping Brees for 2026, and then we'll see what happens. Moving on from Brees in a tag and trade situation, whatever we can argue what they think they could get. In door 3, he just walks out the door. Well, I'm not in line at all for door number 3. I would much rather go to door number 1 than door number 3. I would rather have Brees for 2026. I think he's one of our better players that we have. He's 24. I mean, look at the every free agent list has him either top 3 or top 5 in all overall talent. The Jets are doing the right thing by keeping him. Again, I love Jeremiah Love. So again, it would surprise me if you had Brees and Love. If they did that, my jaw would be on the floor. Like that would just be nuts. That would be exciting and fun and reckless, but it would be nuts. So yes, that would surprise me. So appreciate you keeping me on point. Accountability is important in this field. Thank you, Chef Kevin Gilbert. Really appreciate that. I have a few more here, Woody. I don't know what else you have on the list, but Mougey was asked about John Simpson or Elijah Vera Tucker, this guy or this guy. Any thoughts? And that was the biggest punt I've ever heard in my life. He basically said they're both alive, and yes, they are. And I went, He didn't say nothing. I mean, he didn't say, "Oh yeah, we love ABT, we love Simpson, and that'd be great to have back," or this guy, or this guy, or this guy. So it was a whole lot of nothing. Is that a nothing burger, and he just chose not to say anything, and he gave us something on Bruce, but didn't give us something on those guys? Or could the Jets be moving on from ABT and John Simpson and going for door number? Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it could indicate, his non-committal nature. Some people have said, "Oh, you could just get a different veteran in free agency and just start fresh, or do something draft-wise," which other people have argued, like Daniel Jeremiah. So, is it? Did Darren Mougey just say nothing and it means nothing? Did he say something and it means something of going through a different door, not named John Simpson or AVT, or what?
I think it's none of that. I think that's like my wife level of reaching. Like literally did not say nothing, and then you somehow made it into something. Like, nah, I think and he does a good job of this, is we talking about the topics at hand. Brees, we in the window. So of course we're gonna talk about Brees. We're gonna talk about the staff. QB is a situation. We're gonna talk about that. But this, we don't have to figure this out today. Will McDonald? Are you kidding me? We're not talking about that right now, right? Because these are the current events, and that's what we're gonna talk about. So that's why I respect Mougey. I feel like today again it was another example of why there is that part of the fan base that I proudly represent that really likes what they see from Mougey, and then AG still the coach, so we just go to sleep fantasizing about KOC and Mougey running the squad. But I felt like Mougey handled himself well, and did not address anything that wasn't an immediate concern, and that's not.
So it doesn't mean anything, good or bad. He just said nothing because he didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, they're still turning over those stones, right? No stone unturned. They're still doing all that.
I would just say on the Will McDonald thing, while he didn't say he was doing or wasn't doing it, the fact that he said he was considering it, sometimes that could be, to your point, that could be nothing. Yeah, I could consider it. I could consider to use it or not use it. So it could be nothing, but the considering it makes it seem more lean to use it than not use it. I don't know if you came away with that same takeaway on that one, on Will McDonald, which, by the way, for folks, would be just under $15 million, and it wouldn't be for 2026, it'd be 2027. Yeah. Please get him the barf bag. And folks, just to explain, if the Jets decline that Will McDonald option, which they have to make by the first week of May, if they declined it, Will McDonald will be a free agent a year from now in 2027. If they accept it, he's under contract for 2026 and 2027, not a free agent until 2028. So again, did he say anything there or nothing?
I think nothing. I think I mean, you say what you say, Will hears that and he's not, crying in the closet, but you also are not at all committing. Yeah, that's classic Mougey masterclass.
There you go. Nailed it. All right, let's get another super chat in here. F Zod to God 36 is chiming in, baby.
Wow.
Tag and keep. Make Breece Hall the next Curtis Martin. Oh my. Wudi?
Obviously, that's plan A. That's what we want. That's what I want.
Curtis Martin, sign me up for that.
Yeah, I mean, didn't quite have the start to say, oh, this dude is ending up in Canton, but it's not too late. Like we just said, 24. And his cousin, uncle, some sort of relative, just got into the Hall of Fame this year. Roger Craig. Yeah. So, he's in the family, right? They out here doing their thing. So, I know that's something that he had aspirations to do. His first couple of years didn't exactly pan out how he wanted, but I definitely want to keep him. I do think he has the talent, but we got to get some people in the building to kind of help cultivate that talent. I just the KOC slander is like crazy when your coach is Aaron Glenn. Like I'll never understand why why fans like yo, this coach stinks, like this coach, like Mike Tomlin, like all the bad things that like they bring up about Mike Tomlin, but like our we are the bottom of the barrel. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this super chat that we highlighting. That yes, keep him, be the next Curtis Martin. Come on, it's possible.
Just to confirm, it's cousin, by the way, for Roger Craig and Brees.
What's it? Cousin, uncle?
I know, but you were like cousin, uncle, sister, partner, nephew. Yes, there's a cousin. We're looking for the SS Minnow. SS Minnow. Cousin, yes.
Cousin,
but oh my goodness. Yeah, come on.
Congratulations.
Curtis Martin, though, of course, Roger Craig waited a very long time. So I will tell you one of the cool things, and Wudi, we'll have to do this together. That'd be super cool to go to the Hall of Fame together. I've gone once, and I want to go back. The Hall of Fame, recorded the knock on the house. It's not what it used to be. Sometimes it used to be a hotel room, and you knock, and then the if you hear the knock, you know what that means. But now they've been dropping by people's houses and surprising them. And when they knocked on Roger Craig's door and he saw his 49ers Hall of Fame teammates, oh, man, of just him losing his shit is like one of the coolest things of all time. So I highly recommend, if you guys have not seen those videos, that is an absolute treat for all these guys. Larry Fitzgerald going on a boat.
Drew Brees.
Oh, Drew Brees is great. Oh, man. Luke Kuechly's is really cool, even though Luke Kuechly, he held it in, which is almost different in another way. That like for me, if I would have been the Hall of Fame, I'd be running around like nobody's business. So to hear Luke just sort of go, very nice, and just you could see that it was welling up inside him, but he was being very stoic about it. That was pretty good. But I mean, to the point, upside to God, if we have a Curtis Martin here, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, just a bedrock of what the Jets were for a very large period of time after his New England Patriots days. I mean, shoot, I think we can all say, whether you like Brees or not, man, there's just so much talent there. And I would hate to see that go to the Vikings, the Chiefs, the whatever team you want, and see him go nuts and be like league MVP level running back or anything, all pro, superstar, cover of video games. To see him leave us and then go somewhere else is another one of these Sam Darnold stories. All I had to do was get away from the Jets. I want to see him be great for us. And hopefully, you go to the Browns, right? Browns stink. They have Myles Garrett. Browns fans every week could go to that Browns game and go, that's our guy Myles Garrett out there. That's our boy. You could say whatever you want about us, but we got Myles Garrett. And I know pass rushers to this, but just to have your guy, whether your team sucks or they're winning, your guy's there every week giving it his all. I think that's what I think we all want. And again, there's a lot of untapped potential here, obviously, with Brees. So I hope he realizes it here. But to me, I think that was clearly the most powerful comment. The most powerful comment of the entire presser, both pressers today, Wudi.
Definitely. That's inarguable. Got the jersey out of the closet, and nothing but and like you just said, if he is not a Jet, he is definitely 100% on that Sam Darnold trajectory where we getting clowned for whatever team that he's dominating on. So let us come on. We gotta keep our guy.
All right, another super chat here. DIY for life, giving some love to Boss Girl in the chat.
Wow.
Shout out.
Great facts. Okay, well, let's see some of these facts that are getting dropped.
No. They out here. No, they Boss Girl. She is my arch nemesis today. I feel like she's out here counteracting all my points with facts. But no, she definitely always has facts. Definitely appreciate Boss Girl. I remember the first time I saw her in the comments, I was actually in the danger zone. Oh. And then hit me with the subscription and, has been following the show ever since. Literally always bringing up great questions. That's why I always try to highlight the questions when she asks them. And then I can't lie, bringing up facts. But counteracting my facts today, Damn. I wish we could be friends.
Yep, sorry. But DIY for life, thanks for giving some love to Bosco here. Yeah, I'm seeing the call out for the KOC stuff. You fantasize about the head coach who's got to evaluate trade up from 11 to 10, the old swap ski with the Jets. Very nice. That's a good touch. I will say, again, I want AG to work. So I don't want to be switching head coaches anytime soon. If we were to switch a head coach, I mean, how is KOC not at the top of the list? Former Jets quarterback, great. Salute to KOC. Offensive guy. The Vikings have had a lot of success. It just with different quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, that'd be a lot of fun to get offense, man. It's been a long time. Again, I hope HE works out. I hope we don't have to explore these magical doors. But boy, if we did, KOC would be pretty gosh darn exciting. And with Kwesi Dofa Mensa, I always mess that up when I'm talking.
Oh, the GM.
He got fired. He had a good relationship with KOC from what I heard. So KOC could be like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? And again, it could work out if the Jets stink and AG gets moved on from that. The Jets at the perfect time of the Vikings ship going array, that all of a sudden something happens there.
I just see Macho's comment. Yo, me too, man. We would be homeless. Macho, I'll see you at the shelter, bro. I'll see you at the shelter.
There you go.
That's literally how I feel 100%.
You'll still have that Brees jersey on your back, so there you go.
Yo, yeah, for real.
Is that Wudi?
That's all I have. Just that on my back. But yeah, shout out to KOC. Shout out Boss Girl. Responded to the love. I also feel that same way. Ton of respect. They always bring it, with great points. But yeah, we just, we do disagree on some stuff. But
some stuff.
A lot. Hey, but you know what we agree on? Let's go Jets, and that's all that matters.
Hey. I can respect that. Last one I have here on my sheet, and maybe I have more on my phone, but unfortunately I can't. I haven't tweeted them all out yet, so I have a whole thing that I'll do. So if you guys miss whatever quotes we missed today, I'll catch up, and they'll be in the leftovers for Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning here. But Wudi, at the end of the press conference, I don't know how many people saw this. So I'm going to tweet it out after. Brian Costello says, "Hey, Mougey, you know that John Spytek fella in Las Vegas, right?" And he's like, "I do." And then you start to see the smile on his face, and he's talking about the Raiders general manager, and he's like, "Hey, you gonna explore a trade up? You gonna make that call?" And hey, I talk to those guys all the time, blah 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 blah. And then at the end goes, "Yeah, I don't think that one's happening, but let me know if Spytek changes his mind or something." So that's funny. So hey, again, Darren Mougey isn't doing his job if he doesn't call. Again, no stone unturned. Whatever the over was on that before the show, drink, okay? Because we've said that a lot. But, again, no stone unturned. Trade-ups, quarterbacks on every team, give them a ring, and then maybe get a surprise again. That's sort of what happened in the Colts-Jets situation. The Colts had a quarterback injury. They start calling teams all across the league, and then they end up with the Jets or ask about someone else. And then randomly, it wasn't an intern. It was someone higher than that. But they asked Darren Mougey, hey, would you move Sauce? And he's like, for the right price. I wouldn't give him away or something. And the Colt guy went, really? Oh, hang on tight. Hey, Chris Ballard, let me tell you what I just heard. And then Chris Ballard immediately calls Mougey and goes, what? And he's like, maybe. And then all hell breaks loose. So you never know. So that's why you make the calls. So I don't know if you had anything on the Jets Raiders conversation there.
Well, you do definitely miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Sure.
I can't lie. Like if somehow, some way, they were swindled, and Fernando Mendoza was a Jet. That's a jersey I'm buying.
Oh, cool.
That's a jersey. Mendoza, on the Jets would be a fantastic thing. But unfortunately, it's all a dream. Used to read Word Up magazine. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's just not something that we can really hang our hats on. But cool to think about.
Well, one thing to hang our hat on is the one and only Boss Girl. She said, guys, I want to thank you. I'm starting a new job tonight, a bit nervous, but all you guys just made me feel great. So love and everything into the universe. Hopefully we can throw that wherever you are, Boss Girl 8, that you receive all that love we're throwing out into the universe for you. And if you're nervous, it means you care. That's what I always got told in front of my Taekwondo tests. Is I'd have a master come over to me, and I'm like in a corner, and I'm just trying to mind my own business, and I get a firm hand on the shoulder, and I turn around, and he's like, "You nervous?" And I'm like, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Good. That means you care." And then he slaps you on the back again and says, "Warm up." And I'm like, "All right." And so, I give you a virtual hand on the shoulder. You nervous means good bleep, Boscroid. It means you care. It means it matters to you. It's important. So we're thinking about you. So salute to Boscro.
Absolutely. Best of luck. And, have a great time. As much as you can at work, sometimes.
Well,
yeah. Kill it. And I love Jets Worldwide comment, right? Remember, you are the boss girl.
Make sure you tell your boss that day one. Go in there and say, "Hey, by the way, I'm not sure if you know what my YouTube handle is, but get out of my office." You sell that to the boss. I think that'll go over very well. So let us know how that goes, and then let us know how the next job you would have to then immediately get after that comment goes in. But that's neither here nor there. You know what, Wudi? I don't know if you have anything else to finish off with, or cup the hands to scream Brees, or what you need to do. But Brees.
No, I mean, definitely happy to hear that. The big question, of course, is quarterback. We will be back. There are still positions to review, so we will definitely be looking at the roster. It was nice to hear from our leaders, as we get into 2026. Anytime we get a chance to see where they're at is a great time. I'm wishing for the best this season. Obviously, you guys know, where my predictions are at, but I'm clawing, I'm turning every stone for reasons to, get more hyped about this season. So we're going to see how things unfold.
For sure. I want to thank everybody for joining us again. We will do these positional shows as they hit, but we will be ready to pivot. We'll be ready to break it down. We'll be ready to break it down when necessary, when news hits. And this is certainly it with Mougey and AG speaking. So excellent, everybody. And man, we've got a lot to get to. Again, the countdown is on. We have a week until the franchise tag window closes. So we will know officially somewhere within the next 7 days whether or not the Jets have tagged Brees officially. By all counts, they will. The legal tampering period is March 9th. Free agency starts on March 11th. I mean, we are here. The bleep is about to hit the fan. The rubber is about to meet the road, folks, and hopefully that's good news for the Jets.
We can only hope. Just want to shout out a couple more. CD Dubs saving QB position for last. Bro, did he hack into our Excel spreadsheet? We gotta save the best for last. We'll see what happens. Obviously, if something happens, we'll have to react. But we got the main event coming soon. And Sharon, she said this on Take Flight Talk, and my bad, I didn't bring it up, but now it's on Boy Green's channel as well. That is a pretty interesting coincidence that they were both born on May 31st. Obviously, like Boy Green said, if that was the duo, I mean, that's like next level. Like I'm saying, but
that's insane. Yeah.
But either one, I'm very curious actually to see where he goes. A lot of mocks have him being a chief, and the rich get richer.
It seems hard to envision, but again, these are different regimes, so this doesn't mean anything for now, I suppose. But Joe Douglas is going to take Jahmyr Gibbs with the 15th overall pick in 2023, a year after taking Brees Hall. And Brees Hall had his awesome year for the first 7 weeks of the season. So he was about to have his thunder and lightning of two star guys together. It never happened, of course. The Lions moved all around the board and got him before the Jets had a chance. But I am on good authority to say, not only has Joe Douglas said that publicly, I've heard from people on the Lions side. I've heard people all over Dane Brugler. Man, I've heard EA with the Jet. I mean, I've heard that everywhere that was 100% real. And So they almost did it again. Different regime, different coach staff, different everything. Would they again? I would lose my lid. That would be again incredibly reckless to spend what they would on Brees and then on Jeremiah Love would have to be a top 10 pick. Like that's an insane amount of research to pour in at running back. Some people would argue you shouldn't do either franchise tag or top 10 pick. And the Jets are like, fuck it, we're doing both. So that would be crazy, but exciting because like, holy bleep, like those two guys are awesome. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
I mean, you just seen what Kenneth Walker did for those Seahawks in that offense. I mean, he was electric all three of those games. Saquon last year, what he did to the Eagles, I mean, for the Eagles, I mean, that NFC, not the NFC Championship, the game before that against the Rams in the snow.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like every play he was just running 70 yards in the snow. He was for real dashing through the snow. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you got a running back like that level, Jahmyr Gibbs carries those lines every year. It just makes things easier for everybody else. So I love that position.
Shout out to Johnny Boy. He was getting killed the other day for saying that exact same thing. And hey, man, it just depends on who's saying it. It makes me feel better. When you say things, Johnny, I'm like, eh. And then when I hear Sharon, I'm like, okay. So that's just sometimes how it happens, pal. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. But appreciate everybody, the love, the engagement from the beginning. First comment in the chat, greatest 3 p.m. show of all time. It makes me excited. And then, of course, we both try our best to return that energy back. Boss Girl, have a great first day at work, first night at work. Everybody else have a great day. We will be back evaluating the roster later this week. It will be electric.
I can't wait for it. Sam Bruckhouse, former college football player, will be joining me on the show tomorrow, live from the NFL Combine. He now works for Schumer Sports covering the draft, so we'll have some live NFL Combine coverage. Some leftovers, perhaps, from Mougey AG could certainly work their way into the mix, so we'll talk about some of that coming up on the show. Lindsey Rhodes, former NFL Network host, will join me live tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, but one of my favorite co-hosts. It's James Wudi, baby. We'll be back on Thursday at 3 o'clock as Mac Attack Mahar Khalil says, the greatest 3 p.m. show of all time. Can't wait for that one. It should be a doozy. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure on the way out, if you enjoy the show, hate the show, really any in between, we appreciate it if you could like the video and hit subscribe on the way out. We're streaming live on the Boy Green YouTube channel, Take Flight Talk, TFT, Twitter, of course. And the people that rewatch the show after the fact. Want to give a special shout out, Wudi, as we're signing off here to your TFT folk and maybe some grammars?
Yeah, absolutely. Take Flight Talk. You know where it's at. Reacting live to news as it comes out. This show, the greatest 3 p.m. show of all time. And then, of course, the flagship show, Take Flight Talk. We are taking flight later this week. I believe Saturday. I don't have a time. So sorry about that. But, this Saturday we will be taking flight. That's me, Abby, who's been covering the Jets for over 10 years, and Michael K., not the one that you're thinking of, but my guy, active college running back who is always dissecting the X's and O's. He's processing the game in a different way. And the three of us combined to talk New York Jets. We take flight and talk it up.
That is the truth. And the truth shall set you free. God bless everybody, and we will see you next time